Ladies and gentlemen, the new president of Botswana, Duma Boko, is doing the most for Southern Africa or Africa as a whole. So I was thinking that everyone was going to jump on the South African narrative of deportation and hunting down illegal immigrants, and the new president, Duma Boko, has just defied the odds. And I was reading this article, and that says that the new president of Botswana told the BBC that he wants undocumented Zimbabweans to be legalized by granting them temporary work and residential permits. Now, this, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a milestone in Pan-African politics. And we all expected that the South African stance on immigration is the benchmark of what the region sees as a logical move or approach to diplomatic relations within the region. However, we need to read part of the article, and it reads, "They do jobs that would otherwise not get done." Duma Boko told BBC Africa Daily podcast before his historic inauguration on Friday. Botswana is home to one of the largest Zimbabwean communities outside of Zimbabwe, second only to South Africa, as people seek refuge from the ongoing economic and political instability back home. Yet deportations are common as resentment towards migrants build. Boko's stance, however, is part of his larger vision to revive Botswana's economy and to move away from traditional approaches. Now, coming back to this, what are these traditional approaches? Traditional approaches is each country to itself, and this country, if it's called Botswana, is for Botswana people, or the Tswana people they call them, or if this country is called Zimbabwe, it's for the Zimbabweans. That's traditional and archaic, I can say, because most countries these days are welcoming the idea of multiculturalism and inclusivity, right? So what does this mean? It means countries like Dubai, UK, USA, who are actually immigrant friendly countries, or countries that are built by outsourcing skills and expertise to build the economy. That's all you need. You don't need to look at the skin of a person. You don't need to look at the tribe. You don't need to look at the ethnic origins, etc., to have a progressive mind to build a country, which is something that is so backwards. It is a wake-up call for SADC or SADC countries that the freedom of Zimbabwe is not a Zimbabwean problem. It is a neighbor's problem. And you are all going to be paying for the evils of the Zimbabwean government and Emerson Mnangagwa, I can say. So the struggles of Zimbabwe have historical roots in Pan-African solidarity. I mean, in the 1980s and 1970s, Zimbabwean independent fighters found support and refuge in neighboring countries like Mozambique, Zambia, and Malawi. And later on, we saw also Zimbabwe playing a role to voice against apartheid by supporting the sanctioning of apartheid governments in Namibia and South Africa. So in 2007, also we saw South Africa breaking new grounds to form a government of national unity through Thabo Mbeki. The truth of the matter is that what affects Zimbabwe may also affect Mozambique, may also affect Malawi and South Africa. Hence, you realize that Boko had to come up with a plan that I think is the most sensible of all the problems. So in short, I want to say to a lot of people, Zimbabwe will forever be a thorn in the flesh of Southern African countries. Wherever you go, you see Zimbabweans, and if you don't want them to be in your business, just have to be in their business as well. So to deal with the Zimbabwean problem, you have to be involved in what Zimbabweans are facing and what Zimbabweans are fighting against. Your silence in it or chasing them would never ever solve the problem. So if South Africa thinks of deporting Zimbabweans as a solution, I had to say this. South Africa has lost almost 2.9 million US dollars deporting Zimbabweans, and these Zimbabweans will always just pop back up. You're just trying to dig a pit to fill a pit, and most of them are actually back in the country, and you have used all that money to deport them. Rather use that money to document them, give them some sort of identification so that crime can actually get to minimal levels. Now, the best option there is here is the region has to speak out and help our neighboring countries to kick out an evil, a corrupt, and incompetent government that is led by Emmerson Mnangagwa, I think. So Botswana has just told the world that my neighbor's illness is not a thing to ignore. I can still accommodate them and find the right answer to the problem. Anyway, I'm done with this story. Let's get to Zimbabwe. So the Minister of ICT, Tatenda Mavetera, announced that WhatsApp group admins will be paying a data protection license fee that ranges between $50 to $2,500. Maybe before I criticize, let's go to what she wrote. So she said, Potros breakfast meeting. I would like to thank all those who attended the crucial breakfast meeting organized by Potros yesterday. The time is ticking for organizations that collect first-party data, as you are all required by law to have a data protection license, and the license fees range from $50 to $2,500. Furthermore, a data protection officer DPO who is trained and certified by Potros should be appointed by such a licensee, and the appointment should be communicated to Potros. Even churches who collect personal data ought to have such a license and appoint a DPO. WhatsApp groups admins are not spared too. If your groups are meant for business, you should as well obtain a license. Failure to comply attracts penalties. For further inquiries, get in touch with the Potros team. Special mention to our PS Dr. B. Chirume and Potros Director General Dr. GK Machengete for such a fantastic meeting and great presentation. I mean, I know I'm laughing, but this is not a laughing matter. This is just so serious. And okay, let me just ask a question. We are in a country which is failing to get water from the tapes. Like, I mean, just basic human right. Water, just a basic thing that should actually be there before we even talk about other things. A country that is load shedding almost every day. Then we get some lunatic of a minister suggesting that WhatsApp admins get data protection licenses. What the heck? I mean, what's wrong with people? What's wrong with someone just being functional? Like, why is it so hard to just function in Zimbabwe? I mean, like, why? And you know the biggest problem for me? The biggest problem is not these lunatics. Zimbabweans are so unserious about the things that affect their lives. I was watching this post from Hopo Chingono, and he posted this same particular issue, and you know what? People were actually joking about it. Joking, laughing, because it's funny. Or you want to text WhatsApp groups. That's really funny. I know the practicability is funny, but you know what? If you make everything a joke, no one will actually take you serious. That is why the first point of the Botswana president trying to accommodate Zimbabweans is because they've noticed that you as people are not even serious about your issue. So the easiest thing they can do is just to accommodate you in your countries or those who are serious. Otherwise, we act like we don't have problems in this country. You see people like Wicknell Chivayo stealing millions from the taxpayers' coffers. And what do you see? Multitudes of youths defending him. Go on Facebook, they're defending. Go on WhatsApp, they're defending a criminal. So who do you blame when you have eaten from the hands of the devil? Do you blame the devil or you blame you for taking from his hands? I mean, the biggest question is, are you serious as Zimbabwean people? Are you really, really, really serious? And here's why I'm disillusioned by the actions of us as people. I want you to see this video and tell me what you think about the state of affairs in Zimbabwe. We had demolitions in Belvedere. And I want to tell you something. I want you to give you the twist of something. So in 2015, a local authority, particularly in Harare and Chitungwiza, began extensive demolitions of homes. These demolitions targeted structures deemed illegal, they say. And these were actually built, according to them, without necessary permits on land that is reserved for other purposes, they say, right? So there was a case of a lady called Mavis Marange versus the Chitungwiza municipality in 2014. In a related ruling, the Chitungwiza Magistrate Court required that demolitions be carried out according to Section 74 of the Zimbabwean Constitution, which mandates court order before any home can be demolished. But then after that, they realized that authorities often conducted demolitions without adhering to the constitutional standard, which means most of the demolitions that you're seeing are illegal. So local authorities boards are just proceeding with demolitions without a court order, without the magistrate court agreeing to it or certifying the move. But here's the twist. Think of this. When you think of this, is that the court will condemn, no action will be done, no suing is done, no court orders are given to the local authorities. So who is in bed with who here? Just ask yourself a question, because if a demolition is not supposed to happen without the magistrate's approval, and the demolitions goes ahead and gets done, and you are just here in the middle trying to figure out how it's happening, your home is gone, your hard-earned money has been put into the ground, there is no reparation whatsoever, there is no settlement whatsoever. You lose whatever you have built for years. And most of these people have lived in these places 10, 20 years in these places. So, does it mean that the local authorities fail to enforce planning ahead, or the planning regulations are not being consistently adhered or followed to? So my question is, if you are getting revenue from people who are paying bills towards building in your area, and you are collecting all these bills without asking yourself a question, are these places at the right places? Obviously, when a house is being built, let's talk about the normal foundation. Everyone knows that you have to go through the process of inspection through the council. So when you are coming to do inspection, the planning and everything, people are building. Don't you know that where they are building is already illegal? So you do all the processes, and all you do is to come with a bulldozer to bulldoze everything that people have built. So this is Zimbabwe, a place you will work yourself off to build a house. You build a house, you erect a structure, everything is done. You do your roofing, you tile your roofing, you say, I've built this house for my family, I've built this house so that one day when I retire from wherever I am, I can come and be peaceful in my country. Next thing you see is your local authority coming with bulldozers to come and destroy what you have built all your life. They'll come and destroy it, and when they destroy it, they'll pretend as if they were not getting your bills all along. They pretend like they were not sending you your water charges. They'll pretend as if they were not you were not even using that land. They'll tell you you are in a place that is prohibited. All of a sudden, yet you were taking money from my pocket to service this area. You came when I was doing the foundation. You came when I was doing every procedure. In Zimbabwe, there are laws that you adhere to when you are building a property. So how the hell do you tell me that one day I'm just going to get my building destroyed and demolished without any due process? And the courts are refusing that these demolitions are legal. So local authorities are doing it without due process. You get your building destroyed, your house destroyed, your house is nowhere, your children are homeless, and then the court will just come and say, we didn't know that happened. Actually, it's illegal, but there are no consequences to this. So my question is, who is doing it? Who is selling these? Who is getting money from it? What's going on? Ask yourself that question, Zimbabweans. Ask that question. Who is destroying our buildings? Who is after our hard-earned money? Who is that? The court has refused. Oh, some of these processes we don't know. There are no legal proceedings whatsoever or adequate notice to people. You just see a bulldozer coming in to destroy what you have built all along. And do you know who I blame? I blame us, because we keep forgetting that we are dealing with a criminal government. We are dealing with the most corrupt government system on earth. How do you build something that is worth 50,000 US dollars and it disappears overnight? I sympathize with you, and I sympathize with my people, and I can't imagine how we're going to survive in the coming years. ZANU needs and has to go. I don't care how, when, but it has to go. Millions of people are investing their money into the ground, and someone is just destroying the hard-earned money. How do you feel about that? Is that fair? Tell me, is that fair? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to proceed with this story anymore, and I'm done. Till next time.